Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my May book haul video. It is going to be a good one. I feel like most of my books are used and then a couple are newer gifts, but generally speaking, a lot of them are used, so I just never know what the month's going to bring and what I'm going to have. But a few of these were actually already on my TBR, so I'm really excited that I was able to find them, so let's get to it. I'm hoping the lighting is okay because it is very early in the morning. It is sunny and it's going to be 31 degrees Celsius, so I need to hurry up before I melt. So, first one, I got so excited when I saw that one. This is the fourth book in the Woofer series by Becky Chambers, and I was excited because this is a different edition than all the ones that I have, which, bear with me. I know everyone likes when books match, and I agree, it does look really pretty, but because I often buy used books, they usually don't match, and this is perfect because it's the only other edition I didn't have. Let me show you. I feel like when I explain things in English, sometimes I struggle. So the first book in the series, I have the small paperback edition. And then the second book, I have the big, for some reason, paperback edition. And then the third book, I have the hardcover edition. All of these, I believe, are the UK edition also. So none of these match. And this is a hardcover, but I believe this is the US edition. So they all look just weird on my bookshelf. I'm totally okay with it. I feel like it works with Becky Chambers as a vibe in general. She has just very chill vibes. It's very wholesome, her series. And they're all like companion novels. So again, it kind of works because they don't have to be exactly the same. So yes, I've already read this book. I do like it. But generally speaking, I just want to own everything by Becky Chambers because she is one of my favorite authors. So this is it. Adult sci-fi, if you don't know, super wholesome. The first book, recommend it. The second book is a fantasy book. I haven't been reading a lot of fantasy this year. I don't know what's been going on with me. But this one had been recommended to me multiple times, and when I saw it, used bookstore, of course, I bought it. It is Vita Nostra. This is a Russian translation, which was another goal of mine to read more books that were translated, so not originally in English or French. But this one, I believe, is a magical school setting, which is one of my all-time favorite tropes ever. So this one is supposed to be quite dark and weird and just different, and the reviews are really positive. So again, I saw it. It was a sign that I need to get it, read it, and I'm hoping I'm going to like it as much as everyone else. But yes, one more magical school on my bookshelf. Yes, definitely. Next, okay. I am not so good at finishing or continuing series, really. So when I saw it, the next book on the shelf, I needed to grab it to remind myself that I need to continue this series, and this is Arrow the Knight. It's an adult sci-fi fantasy, kinda. The first book had been described to me as lesbian necromancers, which I needed to own. It was one of the weirdest books that I've ever read, really, but not in a bad way. And with the way it ended, I have no idea how the series is going to continue. So now the curiosity is going to win. I'm going to read, hopefully, the second book maybe this year. But I'm really, really excited. And I saw in the back, which made me laugh and I need to read. It says, the necromancers are back and they're gayer than ever. So they know their audience, and I'm hoping I'm going to like it as much as everyone else, because book 3 should be coming out soon, because this was published in 2020. Wow, I've been meaning to read this for 2 years, so get it together, Emily. Continuing in the gayer than ever concept, the Crier's War, which I think it's YA, fantasy, romancy. I've been seeing this book quite a bit and had been on my TBR for a couple of years at this point, I feel like. And I haven't been reading a lot of YA books. I'm not even sure I've read one this year so far, but I do want to continue reading like a handful every year, the really popular ones. And this one, like I said, was on my TBR for a while. So hopefully a nice, lighter-ish fantasy to read. I feel like YA are like quicker reads, so I'm hoping that this will hit the spot when I need it this summer. Another fantasy. Like I said, I'm trying to compensate for the fact that I'm not reading any by just buying a lot. So I got this one, which I have been seeing going around. It's getting some hype. This is The Black-Tongue Thief. And as the title tells you, you're following a thief, and I believe he's attempting to steal something from a person, and it's like the wrong person to try to steal something from, and he's stuck following her. Once again, I am so great at summaries, but that's all I know from this book. I believe this is supposed to be a funny one, which I like whenever fantasy books can make me laugh. And I believe it was compared to, yes, Kings of the Wild, which, if you don't know, it is on my pile of shame. I probably am due to do a new vlog this summer. Every year I attempt to read the books that I started, never finish, and shamefully look back at. So that one, I think I had only read like 50 pages and put it down because it was supposed to be funny. I would see the jokes, but I wasn't laughing, and I just assumed I was in the right mood for it. So maybe 3 years later, it's been 3 years, 2 years, maybe I will find it funny this time. So I'll read that one, and I'll be also reading this one. And quite frankly, this pine is mustard. I love a really bright pine, but like mustard yellow is a weakness of mine. So of course that contributed, but I already wanted to read this book, so. Sometimes I like to pretend I'm smart and read some literary fiction. So I saw some Virginia Woolf, so I needed to own this. But to be completely honest, Orlando was on my TBR, and I believe it's because people had told me that this was someone that lives a really long time. So people reliving their daily life or just living a long time is a fascination of mine. I went through a phase like when I started Booktube. It's been a couple years now, but this one had been on my TBR. So when I saw it, and it's a really, really pretty cover, I totally want to take a picture for Instagram. It was time. It was simply time. And from reading the background, I'm realizing they're saying that you're following Orlando as a 16-year-old nobleman, and then 300 years later, he's transforming into a 36-year-old woman. So I'm kind of confused, but excited. Apparently it explores sexuality, so we'll see how that goes, if it's worth the hype or not, if I can continue pretending that I'm smart or not. I've been slowly accumulating books that I think I'm going to do a vlog about. Basically books that were really popular movies that I watched, but I never read the book, and I want to see if they're as good, better. I feel like I'm usually thinking that the book is better, so we'll see. Pay it forward. I remember watching the movie as a kid. From what I remember, a kid basically starts applying a theory that he heard that if every person did 3 good deeds, like a good deed to 3 different people, it could change the world, and things happen. We'll see how that goes. It's not super big, and I feel like whenever I'm in the mood for that, I'll read that one. And I got also like Shutter Island, so I feel like that could be a good experiment for me. An author that I've been slowly going through all of her books is Megan Miranda. She writes what I call cozy mysteries. I feel like everyone has a different definition of cozy mystery, but essentially they're murder mysteries, but in like small towns usually. At least all 4 or 5 of the books that I've read by her, and I keep seeing her other books on used bookstore shelves, so clearly a sign that I need to hoard them all and read them all. Usually like midsummer to like fall, it's when I read a lot of mystery thrillers, so right, I think this was a sign that I needed to do this summer. Speaking of which, who's excited for Upgrade coming out? I think it's in July by Blake Crouch. This is a news book, and everyone likes recursion, dark matter, myself included. I have the book on my pre-order list, so very, very excited. I think that that's going to kickstart my mystery thriller phase for the year. I have a few used nonfiction, and then we're going to go into the GIF and new books. So I had this book on my TBR, but then I saw it and I really liked the cover, so of course I got it. And it is called Women in the Picture, What Culture Does with Female Bodies. So obviously it's like a nonfiction feminist kind of book. I'm curious to see what the author is going to say. I've been trying to read a lot more feminist books, so this one was obviously appealing with the cover. I mean, like, I'm always worried that I'm not going to like the book, and now I'm stuck with a book that I think is too pretty to get rid of, but I don't like. So maybe I will just never read it, but this would just look really, really pretty on my shelf, I feel like. Another one in a similar-ish line, The Better Half on the Genetic Superiority of Women. That's one heck of a title, but the author has an MD and PhD, so I was interested to hear what she has to say. But it's true that women tend to live longer. They also tend to have stronger immune system and stuff, so I'm curious. We'll see how that goes. And last but not least, for this section, someone recommended this book to me in the comment section, and then I saw it like literally the week or the month after, whatever, and I, again, saw it as a sign, clearly. Anything and everything is a sign when it's time to buy a new book, right? Why Zebra Don't Get Ulcers, which is about stress-related diseases and stuff, which I am definitely not an anxious person, but I have a chronic illness. I'm waiting for surgery. So I think this could be interesting to read. The reviews are really positive on Goodreads, even though it's a little bit older. So we'll see. We'll see, but I'm excited to try it. So it was my birthday last month, and I got this book after I filmed my book haul in April. So I needed to wait a whole month to show you this amazing, amazing gift that a friend gave me. It is, let me just show you. A Victorian Cat's Journal. They found this at a used bookstore, so this was just absolutely perfect. They thought of me when they saw it, and yeah. As the title tells you, it's a bunch of like drawing paintings of cats in Victorian outfits, and there's a little like journal entry for all of them. So if you see it on my Goodreads, that's why I'm reading it. Look at the back. Like, is this not perfect? So I'm hoping it's going to be as good as it's hilarious, but I will now be owning this forever. From my Amazon wish list, thank you so much, Catherine. I had been wanting to own this book. It's one of the only ones that I didn't own by Octavia E. Butler. She's one of my all-time favorite authors. I will own and read everything she has ever written. Is this the one that's the series that it was supposed to be a trilogy, but the author passed away before she wrote the last one? Is it the one, or is it just a duology? Am I confusing things? And it's the pretty edition. I say that because this is the first book in the series, which is not very attractive. There's this edition that exists if you want to actually get the pretty one. But I really wanted to read this, and it's one of the only one I don't own, so now I have it. Plus, look at the spine. It's red. I like bright spines. So I will finally be able to binge read the whole thing. Maybe we can even read it on the Patreon book club, because we already read a couple of her books, and they're all so good. So, and then I got myself a gift with a gift card from Chapters, which it's open because I tried filming this video once and my microphone was on the wrong setting and you couldn't hear me. Shards of Earth by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I believe this is my 5th book by him. A lot of them have become all-time favorites. E is closest to Brandy Sandy in terms of like producing content. Like he's coming out with like at least 1 or 2 books a year. It's pretty crazy. And they're all fantasy sci-fi, which are my favorite genres. So I should be reading anything and everything by him. The summary seems kind of complicated, but from what I understand, years ago, humanity was attacked by aliens and then they went away, and then humanity is recovering and then seeing something in space that seems to be remnant of them. And they go and explore. So we'll see if I'm completely wrong. I really want to try to read this one this year because I believe book 2 is coming out any day now. I'll put it on the screen. I've been really struggling to keep up with so many books are coming out all the time, but I'm very excited. Maybe also we'll read that one with the Patreon book club. And last but not least, one more nonfiction. I saw that one and I wanted to educate myself more. They Were Her Property, which is about the role of white women in slavery. So I feel like I never hear anything about that concept. So I wanted to get it. It's 200-ish pages of content. Like the notes are obviously like a third of it, but I feel like it's going to take me a while to go through because it seems very heavy. But I've been trying to read more nonfiction, and I've been trying the technique of like reading just like a chapter a day, or like 10 pages a day. So hopefully I can go through more nonfiction that way. It's been working so far until like I started the one I'm currently in. It's been like 2 months, so maybe I should just DNF it. So let me know in the comment section, which book should I start with in this big pile, because I don't know. There's so many that I really want to get to ASAP. Let me know in the comment section also, what is the last book you bought? Because I'm curious. I'm nosy, clearly. Thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in an upcoming video very soon. Bye. Kiss on a cheek, or loving just